And my question for you, Jajuan, is what tax and financial planning mistakes do you most commonly see high-income agents make, and what should they be doing differently as they scale? Does that make sense?
It does. Let me stand up.
Let's go.
All right. All right, one of the major mistakes that most people, in general, high net worth, whether it's real estate agents or any business, most high net worth people, you have a bookkeeper, which is great, right? The bookkeeper is the one that accepts the transactions. They can give you financials and you know your position, but a bookkeeper isn't an advisor. They're not a strategist. They're not a planner. Everyone has an accountant. An accountant is great, but an accountant is not a strategist and is not a planner. And you have to understand who you are engaging and what it is that you're trying to treat. The entry-level people will get you prepared, but you want someone that now can strategize because they know where you want to be versus where you are. So a lot of when we're dealing with bookkeeping and accountants, they can tell you presently where you are, but they are not going to sit down and plan with you. And most people don't understand that where you are is great, but where do you want to be? So you still have to have someone, even if it's a CPA. Of course, I'm a CPA, but I tell people not everyone needs a CPA, but when you get to a point where you are growing and your net worth is growing, you have to have a CPA, even if it's just to consult, right? I tell people, you don't have to have a CFO, you don't have to have a CPA on staff, but you at least need to be able to consult with one or who has a firm. So my firm, I'm the CPA, we have clients, right? I may not charge CPA retainers for your bookkeeping or accounting, but you will pay consultation. So even if you have a firm that you're using or a bookkeeper, just ensure that they can at least give you the support that you may need, even if you don't need it all the time. So I tell people, I'm someone that, you're growing, right? Everyone, you have expenses, you have overhead. So you want to keep it down, but you also have to strategize. And most people, they shoot themselves in the foot because you don't want to bear the expense of a CPA, yet you lost so much money by the time you come to me. I'm like, my God, you should have came 2 years ago, right? So I tell people, just be sure that you're cognizant of where you are, but be sure you know your growth plan. And if you have a plan, then you have to get with someone who can plan with you. And that's where the strategy begins. And it doesn't have to be every day, all day. But if it's quarterly, right? If it's monthly, depending on your growth strategy. A bookkeeper is not a strategist. An accountant is not a strategist. A tax preparer is not a strategist. Just because you can prepare taxes don't mean you strategize, right? What are the best write-offs, right? What can I do, with annuities, insurance? There's just so many ways that you can cost cut when you think about financial, but you have to be sure you're working with someone who's aware. So I just tell people all the time, right? Make sure you're aware of who you're engaging with. And if you can't afford what you need, then you need to cut the bottom cost and at least get what you can't. Do your own books, right? If you can accept transactions and QuickBooks, you can do that, right? But what you can't do is strategize, right? Yourself without the knowledge. So I always say, just make sure you find someone that can plan. Strategy is forward thinking, and not everyone has that ability. So just make sure CPAs, bookkeepers, accountants, tax is still strategy, right? You don't want to be behind the curve. If I have to amend the return, I'm not going to do it. That's what I tell people. If you say you need an amended, I'm not going to do it. Come to me so it can be done right the first time, because it takes more time to correct errors than it does to just pay for it right the first time. And that just comes with planning. All right, y'all. I'm the Lady CPA, by the way, so y'all can follow me on all social media. So Lady CPA, we do forensic accounting, auditing. I'm now doing more public speaking than I am in the office. So when they called me last night at 7 o'clock to say, can you speak? I said, yeah, I can do that. All right, so just make sure you guys plan. All right, now I am still active, so if you need accounting, tax, and all of that, my firm is still doing that. I do more speaking, but of course I am there and I am the oversight for the other CPAs in my firm, as well as bookkeepers and accountants. So follow me everywhere, y'all, the Lady CPA.